I'm not volume so loud.
What did he say? 2020? No, 2022. He had the best album.
How much points you scored last game? 10.
How do you hear?
Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is YAHUAH. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. All right? Say, thank you, Yah, for another year of life. You too, Czar. Oh. You over there scratching your head. What's wrong with your head? Soft body. All right, last week, what we talked about? Come on, who remembers? It should be easy money.
Why do you think it's so easy?
Easy money. Last week, what we talking about? Zahar, come on. At least stay up through the, you know what I'm saying, through the intro. Goodness gracious, hot tamale. What we got? Nobody? What, I got to give y'all a hint? Okay.
It's not making any sense to me.
A hint would be,
It don't make sense.
Yeah.
a hint would be, there was a party.
A party.
Some dancing.
Oh!
What you mean? Oh, I'm still
I remember.
a party?
I just came for He was fun.
You can't buy good help. He is able to rap. All right.
His wife was mad.
All right. We got a little bit.
I can't explain it.
Come on, man. What else we got?
David had a lot of wives and concubines, or however you say it.
Concubines.
David had a lot of wives and concubines. Okay, what else? Why? How did we get there? What happened?
Something happened with him and the Lord having a tent. He was like, he felt weird because he had a big old house and the Lord only had a tent.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I'm gonna build you a house. And then the Lord was like, don't worry about it or something. He was gonna do it for his son.
That's right. That's right. So y'all said we have. He was like, you gonna build me a house. You remember the prophet Nathan told me, yeah, do everything that's in your mind. But then he came back. He was like, no. Most High God talk to me now. You know what I'm talking about? Is what he said. Most High God ended up telling him, no, I'm gonna build you a house and I'm gonna establish the kingdom from a son that comes from your bowels. In other words, that comes from your body. I'm gonna establish his throne forever. Right? So he went on through that, and David, at the end of that, he ended up praising Yah, right? He's looking like, man, this is spectacular. This is wonderful. What's happening right now? This is a beautiful thing. And he praised him. He was looking like, man, look, man, how you even look on me? You know what I'm saying? A lowly man, all I did, I used to keep the darn sheep. Right? And so he was, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of taken aback about that. So now what we about to get into.
Before that, they had to bring the Ark of the Covenant down.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened when they were trying to bring it down?
Mm-hmm.
When they were moving it?
It was about to fall. So somebody, I don't remember who it was, he tried to grab it and then he died.
He died. And why did he die?
Because you're not supposed to touch it. That's the Levites on.
That's right.
Okay.
Very good. Levites. What group of the Levites?
I don't remember.
All right. So remember the ones that move the ones that move the artifacts in the temple or the artifacts of the tabernacle were the Kohathites. So since it was moving, it should have been carried by the Kohathites. Nobody else should be touching it. You know what I'm saying? And Uzziah, he touched it. Uzzah touched it, and Most High God, you know what I'm saying, used him to show the punishment to the people. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, anytime the Most High God get close to a situation, it can happen. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind, one of the things that we all sit, not we all, but one of the things that people often sit and pray for when they want to see God or when they want some experience to help them believe, they'll pray and they say, well, God, just show me a miracle. Or God, just do this. Or God, just do that. Right? And we pray to him because we want God to help us believe, but we want to believe on our terms and not on God's terms sometimes. And if the Most High God were to do that for us and show us a miracle, you have to understand that he's going to be close to the situation. So if you don't obey him and you don't follow his word in that situation, then the punishment is what's called swift, which means it comes quickly. Right now, when somebody do something, right, we can go and hide stuff from people and do something that we ain't supposed to be doing. And we might not ever think that we saw the punishment for that. Right? You think you got away with it for years, right? You may not even connect the stuff that's happening to your life to it. But with the Most High God is close to a situation, it's going to be swift, as in you're going to get sick immediately, or you're going to fall flat or something like that. So we have to understand that when we praying and when we thinking about, you know what I'm saying, the life that we have, right? A lot of us are rebellious. A lot of us, you know what I'm saying, don't obey God. A lot of us try to sneak and hide and cheat and lie and all that stuff. And these are the type of things that wouldn't be afforded to us if the Most High God was close to our situations. What else? Anything else? All righty. Well, then let's pick it up. Where are we? Chapter 11? Second?
8.
Chapter 8?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we was further than that. You sure we 8?
Positive.
All righty then. This is 2 Samuel chapter 8.
And after this, it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them.
Right? So let's put some things in context. David had rest. He let me bring the ark up. He brings the ark up. He puts it in the tent. He starts feeling himself. He man, I got this nice house, but I need to build y'all a house. Prophet Nathan tell him, no. Y'all going to build you a house. So now he chilling. He's had some rest. But now it's time to get territory, right? Y'all remember we looked at the maps before. I'm going to pull a map back up here. Let's see here. I told y'all ain't nothing going to go right. Let me see here. Boom. We need to go slideshow, automatic. We're going to put it on number 3, and now let's see if it works. All righty. Can y'all see the map? Okay. Now, this ain't working either. Give me a second here. We got to change that. Y'all got to excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Change my little setup here. All right. There we go. You know what I'm saying? So now y'all can see the map. So if we look at this map, this is what we were dealing with. At the time when David started to take things over. So you see this area, the pink area in the middle where it say Judah and Israel. That's our territory at this point. That's kind of where all our people are. Then you got all these different little areas kind of surrounding it. You know what I'm saying? And those are our enemies that are around us. Now, some of these people are active enemies where at any moment, if I see you, it's on. And some of these people are just like, you know what I'm saying? We good. You know what I'm saying? You know, you good for now. We good for now, right? So when David takes his kingdom, if y'all remember, David was all about getting our territory, if you can remember, right? Remember, he started working with the Philistines. And when he was working with the Philistines, he was like, yeah, now I'm going to go down south. So you look at where the Philistines are, right? The Philistines are right here. Right? David was getting all of this territory when he was working with the Philistines, right? He was working south of the Philistines and getting all of this territory. He was doing that kind of secretly, right? He'd go out, lead the Philistines. He'd go take over some land. He'd send some money to all the people in Judah. So that's why Judah started messing with him, because he was working all in this area right here. You know what I'm saying? So now you know that that's his mindset. Get territory for the Israelites, because he knows that the Most High God promised us all this land. Right? So he looking like, man, get territory for the Israelites. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So the same thing happens here. He get a little bit of rest. It's time to go to work. He like, get territory for the Israelites. So as soon as he get the rest and he realize, oh, I'm not going to build a house for Yah, the first thing he do is, read it again.
And David smote the Philistines and subdued them. And David took Metheg Ama out of the hand of the Philistines.
Right? So the first thing he do is he take out the Philistines. Right? Book said he took out the Philistines and he subdued them. All right, so let's see if we can. Whatever. There we go. There we go. Right? So the first thing he did is he X'd out the Philistines. Right? Then what?
And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured, he put to death, and with one full line to keep alive.
Right? So he created lines of Moabites and just started killing them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he kept one line alive, one line of people alive. So next thing he did, he crossed out the Moabites. Right? So these are land. He's not literally killing all the people that lived in Moab, but he's making an affront, what they call an affront. So he's going against their land, and he's kind of taking over their land or showing his domination to their land. So next is the Moabites. What else?
And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. David smote also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, as he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates.
So where's the river Euphrates? You look on this map, the river Euphrates is all the way up north. So now David got both of those down there, right? He hasn't taken over the full territory, but he got a stronghold. He's taken some territory in these areas. And he's made the Moabites his servants. So the Moabites are still there, but they just his servants now. So now he's going all the way up, right? Travels all the way up here, and then he starts to fight in this area right here. So let's see what happened.
And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David hold all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to Succor,
So look, this is the Syrians of Damascus. So this is Damascus right here. So he's up here. They try to come, the Syrians of Damascus, they try to come and fight with them also. Let's see. So this is a lot of area. So this is not just this one people, but multiple kings in this area. So he's fighting one king, then another king tried to send their people after him. So let's see.
And when the Syrians of Damascus came to Succor, Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 220,000 men. And then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought gifts. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem.
Right? So he took they gold, he took their treasure, and these people started to serve him. So not all of them are dead. We're going to cross them out, right? But not all of them are dead because they're serving him. Moabites are serving them, right? The Philistines, he just whooped them up, right? So you look at what's going on, and these people are not dead. They're not wiped out. They still have a land, right? But they're just in service to Israel at this point. Okay, keep going.
And from Beta and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, King David took exceedingly much brass. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had smitten all the hosts of Hadadezer.
So now this is my man here. So Toi is king of Hamath right here. So Hamath, the book about to tell us that Hamath and Hadadezer, they've been going at it. So the people of this land right here, let me see, this land right here, and this people of this area right here, they right next to each other. So they've been fighting each other. So now when David come and he come wipe these people out and make them bow down, then you're going to see Hamath. He like, You know what? You all right. Watch this.
Then Toi sent Joram his son unto King David to salute him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and smitten him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toi. And Joram brought with him vessels of silver and gold and vessels of brass, which also King David did dedicate to YAHUAH, with the silver and gold that he dedicated of all nations which he subdued.
Right? So he took all these things and he took it in there. And Hamath gave him additional gifts because he like, man, you know what I'm saying? You kind of helped me out with my op. You know what I'm talking about? You helped me out with my op. You know what I'm talking about? You went there and got him out. You know what I'm saying? Got him out the way from me. What's wrong? You all right? You good? Everything all right? You all right? Was you good? You all right, man? All right, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Act like I don't know what I'm talking about out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, you know what I'm saying? He gave him some gifts because he's looking like, you helped me out. Right? You all right. I've been going up against the dude, and this is a strong guy. You know what I'm saying? I see you took him down, and you know, I don't even want no problems with you. So he started giving them gifts. So the Syrians are going to be these people in this light tan area right here. All right? So in this whole area, these are Syrians. Right? Syrians are serving them. The Moabites are serving them. Philistines just got whooped out. Okay? What's next?
Of Syria and of Moab and of the children of Ammon and of the Philistines and of Amalek and of the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. And David got him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men. And he put garrisons in Edom.
He did what?
He put garrisons in Edom.
What's a garrison?
It's like a stronghold, like a setup.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like a military base.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he put after that, he put military bases in Edom. He just set up shop in Edom, put some soldiers out there. Like, y'all just wait there. You know what I'm saying? Set up shop, make sure you keep an eye on things down here. So what you think Edom did? Let's see.
And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom, he put garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants.
As soon as, think about it, Edom is right next door. You can look at Edom. We right next door to Edom. And then Edom is also right next door to who?
Egypt or Judah.
Judah? Who else?
Moab. Moab.
So you got the Moabites right there, right next door to Edom. Do you think Edom gonna want problems after what he just saw David do? He set up that garrison in their land. They looking like, nah, man, it's all right, man. What you need? Right? Because that's our law. Our law says, as long as you ain't no Canaanite, you know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't no descendant of the Canaanite, we can go off to you. And we got two options. I can kill every one of y'all, or y'all can make peace.
And if they make peace,
And if you make peace,
you got to be our servant.
then you serving us. What does that mean, right? That means that we get to tax you, right? That means that you all the work, we get the benefit from all the work you do. That don't mean that everybody is slave and y'all can't make no decisions and all that. No. You get to run your city the way you run your city, but guess what? We get to tax you, and we get to order you around. We get to make laws in your country, and we get to run your country, right? So that's that's Edom, right? So all these places are right now controlled, except for the Philistines. Philistines are just whooped out, right? But except for the Philistines, all these places are controlled by King David. This hasn't happened yet. Saul was king, but Saul hasn't had it like this. He wasn't controlling multiple areas at once, right? This is something new happening right now.
This is all of the land that we was, minus Moab, Edom, and Ammon, but the rest of it is all the land that we were supposed to take in the first place.
Let's look at another one here. Yeah, the end of the chapter.
No.
Oh, keep going.
And David reigned over all Israel, and David executed judgment and justice unto all his people. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the host, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder. And Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were the priests. And Sariah was the scribe. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over both the Kerethites and the Pelethites. And David's sons were chief rulers.
All right, so all David's sons were chief rulers. So let's look at David's sons. Let's go back. Let's look at David's sons here. Oh wait, first before we get to David's sons, sorry. Let's go to the next chapter. We're gonna talk about Saul's family first.
And David said, "Is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?" And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called him unto David, the king said unto him, "Are you Ziba?" And he said, "Your servant is he." And the king said, "Is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may show the kindness of God unto him?"
Right. So remember, Saul had sons. 3 of Saul's sons died in the war with Saul. Then there was one son left. His name was Ishbosheth. Right? He became king. David just took the kingdom from him, and after some men killed him. Right? So David is now asking, is there anybody left in Saul's household that I can be kind to him, that I can give him some gifts? I'm the king now. I'm running the show. Things going pretty well. Is there anybody from my man's place still that I can, like, you know what I'm saying, try to bond with? So let's see, but this is what happened.
And Ziba said unto the king, "Jonathan has yet a son, which is lame on his feet." And the king said unto him, "Where is he?" And Ziba said unto the king, "Behold, he is in the house of Maker, the son of Amiel, in Lo Debar." Then King David sent and fed him out of the house of Maker, the son of Amiel, from Lo Debar. Now when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence.
Right. So now his name is Mephibosheth. He's the son of Jonathan and also the son of Saul. So let's look at the lineage here. Right. So if we look at the, oops, I went too far. Right. So if we look at this, we got Saul, who you always remember is the son of Kish. Right. So Saul, then the next one, you got Jonathan. That was Saul's son. Remember, that was David's like best friend. Then you have Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, who you remember, he hurt his legs during the war. He was a baby during the war. He had his mom or the maid, was it mom or the maid? Carrying him, one or two.
The maid.
Maid carrying him, dropped him in the middle of the war trying to get away. Right? Dropped him, and when she dropped him, it hurt his legs, and he never recovered from that. So that's how he got his legs hurt. He was about 5 years old a couple chapters ago, and now he's an adult. He's a young adult now. Right? Keep going. Let's see.
And the king said unto him, "Where is he?" Oh, my bad. And David said, "Mephibosheth." And he answered, "Behold thy servant." And David said unto him, "Fear not, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake, and will restore you all the land of Saul your father, and you shall eat bread at my table continually." And he bowed himself and said, "What is thy servant that you should look upon such a dead dog as I am?" Then the king called to Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, "I have given unto your master's son all that pertains to Saul and to all his house. You therefore and your sons and your servants shall till the land for him, and you shall bring in the fruits, that your master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, your master's son, shall eat bread always at my table."
Right? So basically what he did is he took Saul's family, right? Said, "Listen, I'm going to look out for you." Then he gave Saul's family everything that Saul had. Then he chose a man and his family to keep the land. And look, all this land all you got to do is keep it. When we think of that right now, we think of that, man, you just gave this dude a job out of nowhere, and you kind of making him be your slave and making him work this land. But is that what happened?
No.
He just made this man rich. And he said, look, work this land and make sure Mephibosheth is taken care of. But here's the thing. He ain't even going to be there because he going to be with me at my house. So in other words, you really just inherited all this property that you get to eat off of and sell and help people and take care of your family. And his whole family get to own everything, not own necessarily, but gets to take care of everything that Saul had. So this is a benefit, right? This would be something that, like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine it being like this. Imagine somebody owning, what's something cool to own?
Amazon, Nike.
Yeah, let's say I owned a Nike store. You know what I'm saying? I can get all the shoes I want to get, you know what I'm saying? They all come in. All I got to do is sell a Nike store, right? I own it, right? Then I say, you know what? Get this Nike store to TJ, right? But TJ gonna be with me. So I need all y'all to run the Nike store. But y'all get to set your own salaries. You get to make your own hours. You get to go in there and you are the boss. Like, there's nobody over the top of you. You are the boss of your Nike store. You want these shoes? Just take it off the back of the books. I'm gonna go ahead and take these shoes home. Right? You sell the shoes, you get to make all the money from the store. Here's all, you just got to make sure that TJ get his cut. And if TJ come back and he say, yo, I want this to happen, that's TJ. It run the way he is. But as long as TJ gonna be with me the whole time, though, y'all just go ahead and y'all take care of it. That's a benefit. That's like, oh, you let me run my own business like out of nowhere, right? Keep going. Watch this.
Then the king, thou therefore and thy sons and your servants shall till the land for him, and you shall bring in the fruits, that your master's son may have food to eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, according to all that my lord the king has commanded his servant, so shall thy servant do.
Right? 15 sons and 20 servants. That's the reason why he gave it to him. He's like, oh no, you got enough family. You got enough people. You could take care of all this land. Make it happen. Right? So he said, yeah, I'll do that. Don't even worry about it. Keep going.
As for Mephibosheth, said the king, he shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. And all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth.
Right? So now Mephibosheth, he's young himself, right? He's a young adult himself. But now he also has a young kid. Right? Keep going.
So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat continually at the king's table, and was lame on both his feet. And it came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me.
So now it's important to kind of get an idea of what he's talking about. He's saying that he's going to mess with the king of, was it Ammon?
Ammon.
So now Ammon, the map is already up there. So Ammon, you can see Ammon is on the map, right? And if you look at Ammon, Ammon is right here, right? So if you remember, David was running around and he was trying to get away from Saul. And who remembers where David went when he was trying to get away from Saul? He hid his mom and dad here. Who remembers where he hid his mom and dad? He hid his mom and dad in Moab. So you see, Moab is just south of Ammon, right? He hid his mom and dad in Moab, and the king of Moab was like, yeah, I got it. But you'll see that's in the same area. So these are all the places that David was running away to try to escape from Saul. So when he's saying the king of Ammon was kind to me, that's what he's talking about. He's looking like, man, I done hid out of here a couple times, and the homie ain't snitch on me. So when the king of Ammon died and the king of Ammon's son took over, he was like, all right, let me go, you know what I'm saying? Let me go mess with him because I messed with his dad. So I want him to know it's peace and it's good.
Yeah, pay my respect.
He paying his respect. He's trying to let you know, look, it's Pete. I'm the king over here. Your pops was the king. We got along, right? So I want you to know I get along with you also. So he sent some servants out there. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go let him know that, you know what I'm saying, it's all good. If he need anything, I got his back, right? Think of it kind of like we look at it like a phone call today. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you call him, just let him know, you know what I'm saying? Ask him if he need anything. Tell him, you know what I'm saying, I got that for him if he need it, right? He sent his servants to go do that. Let's read it. Let's see.
And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun, their lord, thinkest thou that David does honor your father, that he has sent comforters unto you?
Right? So when it says princes, it's talking about rulers, right? So the rulers, the people underneath the king that help him run the land, the rulers came there, it's like, whoa. You think these servants has come because they honor your dad? Let's see why the rulers think they came.
That he has sent comforters unto you? Has not David rather sent his servants unto you to search the city and spy it out and to overthrow it?
He's like, man, don't you think David just spying on you right now? He probably just spying on you, and then he trying to find a weakness so he can take over your land. Why would he think that?
Because David been taking over everything else.
All this other stuff just got took by David. So he looking at it like, that don't make sense. The man just took out the Philistines. He running the Moabites, right? He killed most of the Syrians. Now they got them serving them. He set up shot in Edom, and then he got them serving them. You think he coming over here to pay some respect for us? Logically, if you look at it from their point of view, this is unreasonable. It's like, it makes no sense that this man, the Moabites helped him out too. The Moabites hid his father and his mom, and he wiped them boys out. So logically, you look at it like, why would he give us a pass? Right? But David had no intentions. They were just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I mess with your pops. Out of all these kings, your pops, I mess with him. He didn't get Hamath either, right? The king of Hamath, he didn't get him either. The king of Hamath came, he gave him some gifts, and everything was cool. So it's not like David was out here trying to kill everybody. He's just looking at anybody adversarial to my people, y'all can get it. And if I come into your land and I say, yo, it's peace, and you say it's peace, then you got to serve me. It's, you know what I'm saying? That's simple. But he didn't have that set up with Ammon. But the Ammonites looked at him like, nah, this guy is dangerous. Let's see what happened.
That's why Hanun took David's servants and shaved off one half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away.
Right? So you got to imagine what we used to wear, right? So what we would have been wearing, we would have been wearing kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think of it as
like a robe.
Yeah, like a big robe. You know what I'm saying? Like a big old robe. And we had a robe, and when it's wartime, what we would do, we would take our robe right here, and we'll tie it up. So you'll have your robe, you'll split it right down the middle, and you'll tie it up right here, right? So that you can kind of move in it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like wearing pants. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to move in it. You know what I'm saying? So we have our robe. So when we had his robe, what he's saying is he took these individuals and he cut half of their beard off. So this side is still long, the other side is just bald, right? Then after that, he turned them around and he sliced the back of they shirts to where their butts was out, right? So for us, this is disrespect. This is This is embarrassing. So after he did that to him, guess what?
He sent them away.
Why don't you walk your butt back home, go tell David I did it, right? So he embarrassed the boys. So this is what happened. David sent them, right? Let me get here. David sent them. They ended up going back. So whatever that little red face is, let me make sure y'all can see it over here. You know what I'm saying? This little red face that y'all see, that red face is Jericho, right? So keep reading. Watch. David gonna tell them to stay there in Jericho.
And when they told it to David, he sent to meet them because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth Rehob and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 footmen, and the king of Maacah, and 1,000 men, and of Ishtab, 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of the mighty men.
right? So now, after that, the king of Ammon was like, oh, it's war. Now, you know how you do something and you got to think about it? And it's like, oh, crap, it's real now. So right, the king of Ammon was like, ooh, he said, the book say, when they realized they stink, right? They stink for David in front of the Israelites. What that mean is, it's like, oh, nah, y'all on my bad side now, right? So when they realized it was on, that's when they was like, we need some help. So you remember those servants that, what is going on here? There we go. Right? So you remember those servants that we was talking about? The Assyrians? They called all the Syrians down. So the Syrians came down to help. So now it's Ammon, all the Syrians against Israelites. We already whooped the Syrians out one time. Now the Syrians is teaming up with the Ammonites to try to whoop us out this time. Let's see what happened.
And the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entering in of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah and of Rehob and of Ishtab and Maacah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians.
Right? So in other words, when Joab said, y'all behind me and y'all in front of me, right? Because they try to get both sides of them. When they say array, he trying to get both sides of them. So he's like, oh, okay, cool. After that, Joab was like, all right, I need the bad boys. You, come with me, you two. You, he chose all the choice men out of it. Watch this. Joab knew what the killers was. Watch this.
And he put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai, his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon.
Right? So now he know I'm going against two groups. I'm going to take the Syrians. Abishai, I chose my men. You take the rest of them and you go get the Ammonites. And watch what he say. Joab got a plan.
And he said, if the Syrians be too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be of good courage and let us play the men for our people and for the cities of our God. And YAHUAH do that which seems him good. And Joab drew near, and the people that were with him unto the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then they fled also before Abishai and entered into the city. So Joab returned from the children of Ammon and came to Jerusalem. And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together. And Hadarezer sent and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river. And they came to Helam. And Shobach, the captain of the host of Hadarezer, went before them.
Right? So now you can see that they went right here. After they whooped them out, they went to a place called Helam. Right? Keep going, because they're going to end up going back there.
And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Helam.
Right? So now David is in Helam. Right? So David, they whooped them out. They all running. Now David himself, he come out of the kingdom. He looking like, let's go ahead and finish this thing off. So David meets him out in Helam. This is where all the Syrians are now. Watch what happened.
And the Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him. And the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shobach, the captain of their host, who died there. And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon anymore.
Right? So this is the second time the Syrians got whooped out and became our servants. Right? So there's another group of Syrians that got whooped out. Remember, it's a lot of different kings in Syria, so it's probably not the exact same people before. But there's a different group that thought, like, man, let's go help these boys out. Maybe we can take them. And after this, they're like, nah, we ain't helping you no more. You know what I'm saying? You whooped us out. You know what I'm saying? That boy David a bad boy. We just gonna serve him. Because you got to understand, when people think serve, when they read this, they thinking it's like, oh, these people on whips and chains and we got them carrying brick all day. You know what I'm saying? That's not the type of situation. They already had whole cities set up. So it's just like, oh, no,
it's just like an American territory, like Hawaii or like Puerto Rico or Guam or something like that. It's just like that.
That's all it is, right? I'm going to tax you. I'm gonna make some laws for you. I might come through and be like, no, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do this, that, and the other. You gotta do that, that, and the other. That's just all. It's just now you're subservient to me.
Yeah, just like America got different territories in these different countries, it's the same thing.
Right? So they whoop them out and heal them, and that was the Syrians, and that put the Syrians in position where they got to serve us too. Right? Keep going.
And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in the eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman and said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness.
All right.
And she returned unto her house.
So David is, you know what I'm saying, he chilling. He just won the war, got all this new territory. It really ain't nobody around him not gonna mess with him. The whole area is serving him right now. So he hanging out. He walk on top of his rooftop, and he kind of, you know what I'm saying, you just kind of imagine he got like the highest little building. He looked down, and you see one of the young ladies over there, and she taking a little bath, and he can kind of see a little bit. So he's looking at it, he's like, that's all right. She look nice. So he told his man, he was like, man, why don't you,
Who is that?
go see, you know what I'm saying, go see about who that is. All right? He's like, man, tell her come on up here. So he sent it, he the king, right? He's the king, he's a famous guy. He's the king, he's the man. So now this woman is married. But him being the king, she looking like, you know what I'm saying, well, let me just go see what the king is talking about. Right? Let's see what happened.
And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child.
Right? So then when she go and see what the king is talking about, she ended up laying with him. Right? He probably charm her, do all that stuff. He got all this stuff, all the things, charm her. She ended up laying with him. Then after that, she ended up becoming pregnant. Right? So now David is in a tough spot as the king. He's the king. He's not married to this girl, and this woman is married, and now she's pregnant. Right? This is adultery, absolutely against our law. Right? Let's see, keep going.
And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David.
Now, Uriah is her husband. So now he's looking like, yo, somebody get Uriah. Because he about to try to do something a little shifty here. Let's see what happened.
And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said unto Uriah, go down to your house and wash your feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and therefore followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah did not go down into his house, David said to Uriah, comest thou not from thy journey?
Right? So you got to look at what's happening. He called Uriah from the war. He calling Uriah because this is her husband, and he know that she pregnant. Right? So he like, Uriah, come on. You know what I'm saying? Uriah come, and Uriah is a man of war. He out there fighting. You know what I'm saying? Getting it in. He get called off the battlefield to come see the king. Well, that's the king. So you got to see him. But where do he really want to be? He want to be out in that field with his men fighting. Right? So he like, okay, well, the king called me. You got to go see about the king. Uriah come. When he come, David speak to him like, man, you doing some good work. You just how I imagine it. You doing some good work out there.
How Joab doing out there?
Yeah.
How everybody else doing?
Y'all winning still?
Y'all good?
Man, y'all doing some good work. I'm proud of you, boy. Proud of you. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? You doing everything I need you to do. Without you, man, we wouldn't be where we are. I appreciate it. You know what? Why don't you go on ahead, you know what I'm saying, wash your feet. Go home, you know what I'm saying, wash your feet. You know what I'm saying? Take a little load off. Maybe see what your wife up to. You know what I'm saying? Because really what he want to do is he want to put him in a situation to where he sleep with his wife so that the baby, he can just blame it on Uriah. Like, oh, yeah, she pregnant because Uriah. Ain't got nothing to do. He tried to set it all up to where he wouldn't have to deal with any of it. Right? But what Uriah is so honorable, it backfired on David. Because Uriah is like, I ain't going home. I'm just going to sleep right outside the king's door. So he just fell asleep right outside the king door. The people told David, like, man, he didn't go home. Because David, you know what I'm saying, the people around him probably know the plan. They told David, no, he didn't go home. He didn't go home. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're going to do. Let's see what happened.
And David said unto Uriah, didn't you come from your journey? Why then did you not go down unto your house? And Uriah said to David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing.
Right? So he's looking like, listen, my boy's out there fighting right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's appropriate for me to go home, lay with my wife, and just relax when everybody else out there fighting. He's like, you can best believe that's not going to happen. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And David said unto Uriah, wait here today also, and tomorrow I will let you go. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord, but he did not go down to his house.
Right? So then David tried to get him drunk. He got him drunk, but the man still didn't go to his house. Let's see.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter saying, see Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire from him, that he may be smitten and die. And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. And Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, when you have made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto you, wherefore approaches ye so near unto the city when you did fight? Know you not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall that he died in Thebes?
That's important. So let me explain some of what's going on here. So David, after he realized he wasn't going to be able to set Uriah up by getting him to sleep with his wife, the next thing he thought about was like, I just got to kill him, right? The only way out of this, I got to kill him, right? It's going to be egg on my face, me being the king, if it's found out that I got his wife pregnant. He going to come back, and I'm going to lose favor with everybody if I do something like that, right? So it's like, if I can't blame this baby on him, my only other option is to kill him. That's the only way to make this legal, if I secretly kill him, right? So his goal was to kill him. So he wrote a message, and Uriah is so honorable that Uriah didn't even read the message. Uriah,
he carrying his death note.
he carried his own death note to his general. He gave it to Joab. Joab read it, was like, okay, for sure. So Joab was like, the note told Joab, put Uriah in the front of the battle, right? So after that, Joab was looking around. He was looking like, well, we got to fight them boys over there, and them some valiant boys. In other words, them some killers over there. Boy, you know what I'm saying? We going to have to fight them anyway. There's some killers back that way. Go ahead, Uriah, why don't you, you know what I'm saying, lead the charge right over there. Knowing that, man, it's going to be tough. But Joab, you got to imagine Joab is looking at it like this. Uriah a bad boy too, though.
Uriah is mentioned as one of the top soldiers in David's army toward the end of the book of Samuel.
So Joab probably looking at it like,
or in Chronicles. I think in Chronicles they talk about like David's mighty men, and Uriah was one of them.
yeah. So you look at Joab, he probably looking at it like, oh, Uriah a bad boy too, though. So Joab is all about the war. He all about winning, right? So he looking at it like, I'm gonna put him out there. But Uriah might just get these boys. You know what I'm saying? You gotta imagine Joab looking at it like, Uriah might just get these boys. If they get them, we gotta fight these boys anyway. That's a win-win. We'll figure out something else to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what David told me to do, but that's a win-win. I put him out there. So we put him out in the front, right? After that, Uriah ends up being killed. right? But not just Uriah, a lot of folks end up being killed. They put themselves in a situation where they went up against a tall tower, a wall, right? And so he's sending a note back to David to basically say, hey, we lost this battle, right? They're not used to losing battles. So he's telling the messenger, yo, give all the facts of the case to David and let him know that we lost this battle. And he is like, now listen, if David start wigging out,
If you get mad,
because David about the war too. David like, no, we don't take losses around here. What are you talking about, right? So David about the war too. So he know that as soon as I tell David, man, we had a fight right here, and David can fight. David know what he doing. You know what I'm saying? So we marched him in right here. It was a tall tower, and we just start fighting. He know David's response gonna be, you idiot. Why would you put the people right there? So he told him, like, if David get to run them out talking about, don't you remember? What was it? Not Absalom, right?
who smote Abimelech, the son
Abimelech.
of Judah. He was like I think he was the king of somewhere. It was in Judges.
It was in Judges.
It was in Judges.
It was the Judges. You remember Judges?
And the
When
woman
we
with the stone.
was reading, it was the woman. She dropped the stone from the top. You remember the woman who drove the nail through the man's head? Right? Right after that, it was a woman who dropped the stone from the top and won the war. Mm-hmm. Right? So he's looking like, don't you remember Abimelech died in this very same way? So you can tell that David and our people and Joab, we learned from our history. We looked at our own history. It was like, all right, I remember how he died. We got to approach things different. And this is what Joab was expecting David to say, because it's like war tactics. It's like, no, this is a dumb move. Joab knew it was a dumb move, but he trying to accomplish a mission and at the same time trying to win the war. It didn't work out. He like send the message. Joab don't even like this idea. So you can tell Joab being a little spicy with it. So he was like, man, tell him the facts of the war. He didn't say mission accomplished on what you wanted done. Give him the facts of the war first. And if he get mad, watch this.
And if it so be that the king's wrath arise and say unto you, why did you approach so near unto the city when you fight? Know you not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubasheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall that he died in Thebez? Why did you go near the wall? Then you shall say, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. Mm-hmm. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants are dead. And your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, thus shall you say unto Joab, let not this thing displease you, for the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle more strong against the city and overthrow it, and encourage him. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband.
Right? So when Uriah's wife, the one that David got pregnant, when she found out her husband died, she started crying. It made her sad, of course, right? She's mourning. But watch David.
And when the mourning was past, David sent and fed her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased YAHUAH.
Right? So this thing was all secret, right? As soon as it happened, he was like, I'm going to give her time to mourn. But as soon as she was done mourning, David was like, come on. Now I'm going to make an honest woman out of you. You know what I'm saying? He looking like, come on, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and marry you now. You can become another one of my wives. Right? And David had a son. So we'll look at David's family. That's the end of the chapter, right? Mm-hmm. Right? The book say that displeased Yah. So let's look at David's family now. Let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So now when we look at David's family, you have David right here. Y'all remember, you know what I'm saying? You go all the way back to Rahab. She was the Canaanite that was in Jericho. She's the one who let us, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Put the red scarlet in the wall, you know what I'm saying? Hid our people, you know what I'm saying? Gave us the whole plan that, you know what I'm saying? That we can come in, told us that everybody was scared of us, all that. So Rahab, then that led to Boaz and Ruth. You remember them in the book of Ruth, right? During the time of our judges. Then they had Obed and Jesse. And then from there came David, right? And these are David's three brothers, the ones that weren't chosen, right? And then you had David. So then David has this woman that he sees, Uriah's wife. He sleeps with her, and he has Solomon. Solomon is going to end up being the next king. This is the king that the Most High God was talking about when David wanted to build him a house, right? Y'all said, no, I'm going to build you a house, and I'm going to establish your throne forever and the son that comes from you, right? So this is Solomon. So this Solomon is going to end up being born, but this first baby is not Solomon, right? This baby that she's pregnant with right now is not Solomon. So let's read real quick. Let's see if we can kind of figure this out.
Who did Absalom come from?
Who?
Okay. None. I don't mind. All right. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David.
So Yahuwah sent Nathan on to David. Nathan is that same prophet, right? So the prophet went to David, and watch this.
And he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as Yahuwah lives, the man that has done this thing shall surely die.
Right? So now the prophet Nathan came to David. He is like, yo, David, let me tell you something, man. So there was a man out here, man. He had him a lamb. Remember, David, what did he used to do? David used to keep the sheep. That was his job. He used to be out there with the sheep, taking care of them boys too. Like, no, come on over here, man. Come on. No, this way. Right here. That was his job, is to keep the sheep. So a person who do that, they understand the sheep. They might even take a great liking. You ever seen somebody who really love dogs? They're just a dog lover. You know what I'm saying? They be looking at it, be like, nah, man, you can't do your dog like that. You let your dog stay outside. You feed your dog this. No, you got to give them this type of food. Like, they really care about the dogs, right? Well, this is how David was. David was like, man, I appreciate these sheep. So he gave him a situation about a lamb, knowing that David would understand this. He told me, like, listen, man, there was this man with a lamb. The lamb ate with him, slept with him. Listen, the lamb was like a daughter to him. So it just let him know, that David know, like, oh, that was a special one, man. He kept that thing, like, he loved this lamb, right? And it was his only lamb. It ain't like he had a whole flock. He just had the one darn lamb. The man had a lamb, but then it was a rich man. And the rich man had a whole flock of lamb. You know what I'm saying? That boy had a whole heap of lamb. Don't care a lick about none of them. But he got some company coming over. And guess what? I don't want to use my lamb for this company. So I stole the man who only got one lamb, who's like a daughter to him. I stole that man's lamb. Cooked it, served food. Killed his lamb and served the food. David about lost his darn mind. He said, this man. What did he say to him?
his anger was great. David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, "As the Lord lives, the man that has done this thing shall surely die."
He charged him with death. You stole this man's lamb and killed it and served it. Man, listen, whoever did that will die. David thought this was a real story. So David's like, oh, you bringing this to me because you want judgment from me. I got you. I'll tell you right now, we'll handle that one. Where you at? I'll kill him. Watch what Nathan say to David.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold because he did this thing and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, "You are the man. Thus says Yahuwah, God of Israel, I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you out of the hand of Saul. And I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your bosom, and gave you the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto you such and such things."
Right? So now, the Most High God is letting them know, okay, I'm happy you feel that way, David, because that's you. Right? You the man that took a man's lamb. You had all these darn wives, and you had to take this man's wife and kill her. And when you killed him. Because it just wasn't good enough for you, everything that you had. So now the Most High God is telling me, I gave you this, and I gave you Israel, and I gave you Judah, and I gave you that, and I gave you this, and the promise I just told to you. And what else?
"And I would moreover have given unto you such and such things."
He said, I would have given you even more.
If that was too little, I would have given you more.
I would have given you even more. I didn't give you wives. I didn't let you have everything. And I would have done more for you. It's important that we understand that concept. There's a lot of people that look back on their life and they comfort themselves with lies. Saying stuff like, well, I had to go through that to get where I am now. That is a lie.
No, because you'd actually be further.
You might be further if you didn't go through that foolishness. Right?
So it's like,
it ain't a loss, it's a lesson.
Like
you need to cut that out.
the myth is when you young, you got to run the street, do all of this wild stuff before you settle down and get married. But it's a lot of people that don't make it out of that rigmarole. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of people that make it out with scars. And with stuff they got to deal with and stuff they can't even have a regular relationship because they got so many scars from old relationships. So much baggage, so many enticements, and so much stuff that they gotten used to that now they can't even simplify it. Right? That stuff plagues people.
Waste of time.
Wasted time. It plagues you. You thinking, oh, I'm getting something out of my system. No. Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
You ain't getting stuff into your. I mean, you putting stuff into your system.
Yeah.
Stuff that you never gonna be able to get rid of. You ain't getting nothing out. Person sit their butt down, settle down. They ain't itching to do all this crazy stuff. Not like you. I bet you take two people. You take a person that remains a virgin and gets married as a virgin. And you take a person that run the darn streets and lives it up and then gets married after they live it up. I guarantee you this person who ran the streets and did it all is going to have way more temptation to cheat on their spouse than the person who's a virgin and married after, in their virginity. I can guarantee you. Because one person don't even know what it's like other than this. I ain't going to say temptation ain't there on both of them. They there. But this one know what it's like. This one know every time he see a girl like, oh man, first of all, I know I've had experience getting there, so I know I can get her. Right? So now that's a whole other temptation. I know it can happen. And there it is. The second piece is, I know what she looked like. She probably, now you got a whole memory bank of all of them that kind of look like that, who it might be like. That's a different level of temptation.
Stuff you just can't get out of here.
And you can't get out. You got to deal with that for the rest of your life.
Stuff don't go away.
Right? We have to get that silly stuff out of our brain. Right? I got to run the streets because, no. You didn't have to go through none of that foolishness. You didn't have to make none of them mistakes. You'd be better off learning without making the mistake.
And there's a lot of people that's alone right now that really don't want to be.
Yeah, buddy.
Because all of the chances they had, they blew them.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, trying to chase something out there.
And they wouldn't have had to be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's only mistakes that make stuff tight now, make stuff difficult. We ran people away. You know what I'm saying? Running people away that were probably good. Mm-hmm. Right? It's important that you don't let yourself have that mindset that you got to go through something to get to where you at. Nah, man. You got to live right. You got to do the right thing. Right? You live right. You do the right thing. You can avoid this stuff. Right? It just takes some time, take some patience, take obedience, take faithfulness. All right? But you can avoid some of this foolishness. And this is how you prove it, because the Most High God told David, I would have given you more. In other words, had you not made this mistake, you would have had more going for you. But watch this instead.
Wherefore you have despised the commandment of Yahuwah to do evil in his sight. Mm-hmm. You have killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and have taken his wife to be your wife, and have slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from your house.
He said, therefore the sword will never depart from your house. In other words, these boys always gonna be at you. Right? It's always gonna be somebody trying to kill the people of your household.
Yeah. So after you dead and gone, all your sons gonna go through
every one of them.
All of these fights.
Right? Every one of them. Because that's how it worked. Guess what David did? He killed the Lamb of God. Right? Uriah testifies to YAHUAH. Right? The people killed YAHUAH and they let a Gentile kill him, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Right? His own brethren, YAHUAH's own brethren set him up and let Gentiles kill him. And why they do it? Over Israel, which was his wife. Right? That's why the Most High God used the parable of a lamb. Because he killed the Lamb of Yah. And we look at it, and that's going to follow all the way until it reaches YAHUAH. Because even now, YAHUAH, based off of this curse that's put on David, his household always going to have a sword.
And when YAHUAH come back, he's still going to have a sword. He's going to have to put some people in their place.
Still going to have to fight.
Yeah.
Right? Watch this. Keep going.
Now thus says Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up evil against you out of your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them unto your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this sun. Mm-hmm. For you did it in secret, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Right? So he basically saying, don't nobody really know what you did. But let me tell you something. This stuff that I'm about to do to you, everybody and the son gonna know about it. You know how people say, everybody and their mama knew. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was the Most High God's way of saying that. Everybody and the son gonna know. Watch this.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah. And Nathan said unto David, Yahuwah also has put away your sin. You shall not die. Howbeit, because this deed you have given great occasion of the enemies of Yahuwah to blaspheme. Mm-hmm. The child also that is born unto you shall surely die.
Right? So now pay attention to what just happened. David immediately said, man, look, David committed adultery, first of all.
Yeah, he should be dead.
Right? And he committed murder.
Yeah, that's just two counts.
Those are two sins that cause for immediate death. Right? If nobody caught him in the act of adultery, okay, you slide through that one. Right? But guess what? We got paperwork on you killing somebody.
Yeah.
It ain't no question about that. We got paperwork on you killing somebody. That got it. And then let's say you get past that. Well, you admitted it. I know you did it. I told you did it. And you came back. You was like, oh, I'm sorry. I sinned. You admitted it. But the first thing y'all said to him is, that's all right. Your sin been put away. In other words, you know what I'm saying? You've been forgiven. But notice even after he forgave him, then he said, but you cause these people to blaspheme. What you did gonna mess around and cause these people to blaspheme.
Because you are like,
They gonna find. I know you think this is secret, but most like God know what his intention is.
and David also is like the most righteous looking guy right now. Like,
He's the man.
yeah, it's like what David does, God approves of. You know what I'm saying? So everybody looking at David like this godly person.
Yeah, like nah, you stained yourself with this one,
Yeah,
boy.
so yeah.
So now he looking at it like, yeah, nah, you messed this one up. I put it away though, but you messed this one up. Let me tell you something. Your son gonna die. The one you got her pregnant with, that one gonna die. Right? So watch this.
And Nathan departed unto his house, and YAHUAH struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. And David therefore besought God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of the house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead.
So it took 7 days, but the child was sick right after that, right after the Most High God talked to David. And then 7 days later, the child died. Right? So during the time that the child was alive, David was fasting. He wouldn't eat anything, and the people were trying to get him to eat. He laying on the ground, crying and praying, and the people trying to get him and, you know what I'm saying, comfort him and everything. But then after that, the people just start leaving him alone, and they quiet and they whispering. So David kind of knew at that point. He looking like, because remember, David know the child gonna die. Most High God already told him that, right? But he trying to just do whatever he can to prevent it. Then the people start whispering, so it's like,
So they like, and we scared to tell him because while he alive, he didn't eat.
yeah,
If he found out he dead, he
that boy
probably
gonna
try to
kill himself. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the king. So they scared to let him know. David kind of perceive it. He looking at it like, you know, that's it. All right? Then watch this.
And David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his clothes.
Right? So he got up, he took a bath, he put some oil on, you know what I'm saying? Got his skin right, changed his clothes. Then what happened?
He came into the house of the Lord and worshipped.
Right? Went in there, praised the Most High God. Then what else?
Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat.
Right? Then he called for them to give him some food. They put it in front of him, and he ate. So you got to look at the people. They probably looking at this like, what in the world? This boy was darn near about to kill himself. He on the ground. He ain't ate nothing in 7 days. Crying and snotting and carrying on. Ain't took a bath, stank. Right? Boy, the child died. We tell him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what happened. He get right up, take care of business, go praise God. You know what I'm saying? Why don't y'all bring me some bread? Gave him some bread, he eat. Watch this.
Then said his servants unto him, What is this thing that you have done? You did fast and weep for the child while it was yet alive. But when the child was dead, you did rise and eat bread. So to them, he kind of did it backwards. Usually when a child died, that's when you fast and don't eat. And then he said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who can tell whether God will be gracious to me that the child may live? But now he is dead, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon. And the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah because of YAHUAH.
All right. So if you look at what David said, David is basically saying, like, listen, I knew that the Most High God was gonna kill his baby. I thought perhaps by doing all this fasting, I thought perhaps that maybe the Most High God would have mercy and he would not kill the baby, right? But he's looking like, man, after the baby dead, who comes back to life? Nobody comes back to life. Nobody's resurrected. That's how he's looking at it. He's like, there ain't nobody gonna be resurrected. He's like, so it don't make sense for me to expect the baby to come back to me. No, what makes sense is I'm gonna go to the baby, right? Well, that testifies to Yahushua also, right? You look at Yahushua, well, the opposite happened. Yahushua, who's also a child of David, right? did die and came back, right? And ultimately, David is going to come back to him. All right, so all this kind of testify Yahushua. Keep going, watch this.
And Joab fought against Rabah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabah and have taken the city of waters.
Watch this.
Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it.
Why you think Joab said that?
You don't know, like, yeah, we got it now. Like, you know, so I gave you bad news before, but you know, we on.
Joab don't like taking losses. You have to understand that. You have to understand what that move was about, right? When he sent that letter to him, he was like, nah, just tell him, you know what I'm saying? Tell him that we took the loss. And when he get mad, tell him, oh, Uriah dead. You have to understand, Uriah had them things. That's a valuable piece of my army. Yeah, I did it for you. You know what I'm saying? But don't even mention that part first. Tell him that we lost. Wait for him to get mad. He get mad, then tell him, oh, don't worry about it. Your man is gone. Because he's poking at him like you doing silly stuff. You know what I'm saying? We out here trying to do it. You doing silly stuff. Right? So now you look at it and look how he talking to David at this point. He sent a message to David like, yo, we took this over here. Now you come up here and take the rest of it. Watch this.
Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it will be called after my name.
Right? If you don't bring your butt up here and take it, I'm going to call it after my name. You have to imagine Joab is dealing with the fact I'm out here. I'm killing people. You got me taking losses over silliness. What are you doing out there? Right? So you can see immediately this is where it starts. Most High God told him, oh no, sword always going to be against you. Right? Sword is always going to be against you. This stuff going to be happening to you openly. So now the disrespect is starting already. Right? Immediately after Joab sent him like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you bring your butt up here? And you know what I'm saying? I did the hard part. Why don't you come up here and clean up the rest of it? You don't have to, but if you don't, it's going to be my city, boy. He talking to the king. Right?
But Joab like that, though.
Joab is like that. Joab is like that, right? Watch this. Keep going.
And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off his head, and the weight thereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. Mm-hmm. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the bricklin. And thus did he unto the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem.
Right. So they finally finished off Ammon. You know what I'm saying? And then they went back to the town. Right. So we're going to stop about right there, and we're going to keep on reading, and we're going to see how David's family starts to, you know what I'm saying, have all types of problems that he's going to have to deal with for a little while here. Right. But eventually it's going to lead us to King Solomon. All right. And we're going to see kind of how when King is going to be a little while out, but eventually we're going to see how all of this stuff that we read now, King Solomon going to have to deal with. All right. A bunch of stuff that we about to read, King Solomon going to have to deal with. He's going to have to deal with all this stuff because that's how sin works. Right. You commit a sin and then it just plagues your lineage. Right. We'll talk a little bit more about it next week. Any questions? Let's pray out.